Hello, one and all, and welcome to a very special episode of the SuperShow podcast.
Very special indeed, Chris, as tonight we're actually going to forego our regularly scheduled programming to cook up something a little bit different. You could consider it maybe a SuperShow flavoured twist on everyone's favourite time-honoured tradition, the venerable awards show.
That is right, so buckle up for a time-condensed extravaganza as we look back on the last 12 months in the wild world of video games. I'm talking AAA releases, indie darlings, sexual harassment cases, NFT drops, and, guys, an actual fucking war. You name it, it happened, and we're going to retrace all of those steps tonight. Well, maybe not the sexual harassment cases, because Jamie's involved, it gets weird. Or the
Never say
war.
never.
We'll leave the war out as well. Okay, let's do that.
I don't think we take anything off the table just yet.
We'll see how it goes.
Okay, well, guys, we've got all of that to look forward to, plus a tip of a hat to our friend, Jeff Keighley. He's, very close mutual friend of mine. I don't know about you guys, but, me and him, tight. I've seen his bumhole. But look, we will reluctantly acknowledge the award show are, technically giving awards and recognize some of the greatest achievements seen across the industry. So without further ado, welcome to not Jeff Keighley's awards, the SuperShow Game Awards 2022. 22.
Gentlemen, I don't know if you remember, considering it was so long ago, but 2022 started, as some of history's greatest years have, I'll point out, with January. It was the first month of the year
Lies.
this year. No, go and look it up.
You're a fucking liar.
No, it's in the books. It's in the books, like Uncle Buck says. And at the time, acquisitions were the talk of the town as Sony announced their intent to acquire Bungie for $3.6 billion, while Phil Spencer also revealed his undying love for the sex number as Microsoft's $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard also began. I heard that's the only reason they picked that number.
Definitely.
And I'll be honest, I haven't checked the news lately, but I'm sure that acquisition is going swimmingly.
I'm sure.
What could possibly go wrong?
Hey, fellas. Who fucking called this acquisition? Who had his name plastered all over it saying, this guy knows?
It was Jamie, I remember clearly.
Actually, no, Georgie's right, it was me.
It was me.
It was me.
No, it was me.
No, see, none of our fans are passionate enough to actually go back and fact check this. So,
at least two are, so you're in trouble. But look, January was also notable for being something of a video game graveyard. Shit got so boring that a handful of brave folk decided it was time that they step up and be the change that they actually wanted to see in the world, lads.
Oh, wow. Well, Jonesy, you did try to influence common nomenclature by giving yourself a year to make the word gelding a thing.
Work.
I like to feel that there was a portion, a moment in time crystallized like a mosquito caught in amber that led to the creation of dinosaurs, and now we all live in fear, obviously. But I thought you did okay.
Thanks.
But, while that was happening, our old friend Troy Baker teamed up with the Voiceverse to create a range of voice actor NFTs. Sure, the backlash was fierce, but Baker reminded folks that, hey, buddy, you can hate or you can create. But unfortunately, I don't have the little fucking stupid hat that he wears sometimes, and a guitar in my hand, and, like 50 bangles on my wrist. But there you go.
Innovator, storyteller. I put a space between every character for no reason.
Gelding.
Visionary, Dreamweaver.
Dreamweaver, exactly. Also, Chris, it's worth noting that whilst Troy did coin that motto, yes, you can hate or you can create, he would, of course, later add a third option, which is you can distance yourself from that company after just a few days and pretend the whole thing never happened, which at this point is pretty much the cycle of NFTs.
But look, okay, failing to make your mark on the culture is a fate that could befall any of us, okay? Even us, even the SuperShow boys, and even prestigious video game studios. So let's wade back into that video game graveyard and acknowledge our first award category, the best video game of 2022 that you completely fucking forgot came out in 2022. That's what we're doing.
So basically all the games except for Elden Ring and God of War.
How dare you, sir? I will list the nominees for you both. Would you like to hear them?
Let's do it.
And I would like to see you suitably surprised when I remind you that these games actually came out in 2022. I'm talking...
Do you reckon I can pull this? Well, hold on, Jonesy, do you reckon I can pull this face? Oh.
Yeah, I think you could.
You look like you're posing for YouTube reaction thumbnails.
Okay, as
those kill.
as I announce these, I want to see your best YouTube reaction faces as you remember these games. They are, in no particular order, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction, Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, Weird West, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, Lost Ark, and of course, Dying Light 2.
I tell you what, Jonesy, that arc isn't the only thing that's lost, because that entire joke will be lost if we end up producing an audio version of whatever the fuck this video is.
I do feel sorry for the people that
we were
can
pulling
imagine
faces. We were pulling faces with every category. We were doing our YouTube reaction
Yeah.
faces.
Yeah, Rainbow Six Extraction, man. Fucking hell. That was the game that you guys started playing. I downloaded it, Ubisoft. Fucking thanks. Fucking what's it called? Ubisoft Connect. And it sat on my desktop for about, I don't know, a month. You guys stopped playing it, and then I was like, well, I'm not interested now.
To be fair, everyone stopped playing it.
And I never even played the fucking game.
Yeah. I'll be honest, it was one of those things where I also had that thing of like, oh yeah, this was the game that we were going to play with Chris, and everyone was going to get together, and it's going to be a nice big multiplayer extravaganza, and it's a shame it didn't happen. But God, at least we played Back for Blood this year together, right? And I had to look it up, and it's like, no, Back for Blood came out last year. Rainbow Six Extraction was Back for Blood was last year, bro. Rainbow Six Extraction was a holdout multiplayer game.
What is time?
I don't know.
What is time? It's fucking ridiculous. Like, Lost Ark as well. That feels like, surely that was an end of thing last year. Because I remember all the fucking Twitch streamers were doing it. There were fucking drops. Everyone was hyped about it. And then streamers stopped playing it because their contracts ended. And then where's that fucking game now?
It's just I guess if anything, a kind of nice reminder that FOMO is only ever fleeting at best. You think you're missing out on the next big thing, and by December, no one fucking remembers it anyway.
The one I remember best, though, has got to be Dying Light 2. I actually did play, a fair few hours of that game and remember it reasonably fondly. Wasn't, not so bad.
Yeah, I guess that isn't the strongest competitor here in this category. It's just one of those things that there's something about those January and February months that you reflect on and you're like, God, this really was a weird time. And also just incredibly long ago.
I tell you, the only reason I remember Tiny Tina's Wonderlands came out this year was because I played 2 hours on the new PlayStation trial mode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, like, Jamie, you're right. It was weird. A weird West kind of wickedy wild. So it's a bad segue, all right? Granted, fair. But which fucking one was Weird West? Like, we kind of touched on it in the last podcast, but like, there have been so many Dead West, Hard West, West of Dead Hard, Suck Me Off West. Like, which one is this one?
Forbidden
I don't even
West.
remember.
This was the one that was isometric and was made by people who used to work at Arcane on like Prey.
So this was the cool one.
This was the cool one that you looked at on Xbox Game Pass and said, oh, do you know what? It's on Game Pass. I've got to try it. And you never did for the next 11 months. Then again, that's about 50 games this year. So what am I saying? No,
but I quite specifically remember around this time that I don't remember the time of year that it came out, but I remember the period of time, in quotation marks, when this game came out. And I went onto Game Pass and I searched for it. And I think I just searched for like one of the other fucking Wests. And I was like, oh, well, maybe it's just not out yet, or maybe it's not on Games Pass. And I just fucking, and I just fucking left it at that. Like, I really wanted to play this game because it looked fucking sick.
But now you've been reminded.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but it's an old game now, Jonesy. I don't fucking do that.
It's 11 months old. No time for it. Look, I think we're going to have to drill down, guys. We're going to have to try and pick a winner for this category.
I'll be honest, lads. I think my favorite for this might be Rainbow Six Extraction. Just a weird game, an actual, technically fully fledged entry in the Rainbow Six series that I genuinely might think I might wholesale forget about in the coming years.
I know what you mean, but I kind of don't want it to. I don't think it was good enough to be the best game that we forgot. I have a bit of love for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I think that
I forgot the word "best" was in the name of this category. I take it all back.
But does best relate to the video game, or does best relate to the best example of a game that you completely fucking forgot came out in 2022.
If it's the latter, then that's what I was sort of rooting for Extraction for.
Okay.
It's definitely not the best game on this list.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the best game on this list that maybe should have been remembered, which I think I would plumb, if that's the case, for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Is that, you know, I think it got a bit of a rough ride, a bit of a raw deal.
I could get behind that as well.
I don't know if it did. I don't know. But then, like, fellas, Strangers of Paradise, I know none of us gave a shit about it, and same for like 99.999% of the world, but it's there and it's a thing. And apparently the top 0.1% that played it said it's all right.
Yeah. That's one of those ones where I wish we were a bit more qualified to give an appraisal of it.
I think for our like ourselves as the Super Show, I think we have more stake in giving it to Tom Clancy Rainbow Six Extraction, just because we've got a Super Show story behind it. Also, I find it fucking hysterical that Ubisoft created a limited time event for Rainbow Six Siege that was popular enough to make the head honchos at Ubisoft think, maybe we should make this into a fully fledged title. They did it after multiple delays. It came out and no one gave a shit.
Do you know what? You make a good
surely
point.
That's award worthy.
Right. I think you've both won me over. I think Rainbow Six Extraction should probably win it.
Yeah.
Yay, well done.
Winner. Well done, Rainbow Six.
Whoever's editing this, make confetti appear. I say that knowing it's Chris.
Nah. Nah.
We're the confetti.
Should we get like actual like prizes made? Maybe like a
CG.
Lightly fucked
I'll put my hand like this and you can put like an award on.
I'll put something on it, buddy.
Can I?
But yeah, and then just send it to Eve.
Yeah,
and then he can yeah, fucking they're all the same. Lost the football, so who cares?
Can I make a request of anyone in the audience watching this? If you disagree with our winner for the category, drop in the comments down below and tell us what you think should win for each category as we go through.
Oh, Mr. Social. Oh, engagement.
I'd like to see.
Alex, social
call to action. Call to action. Engage with us.
Yeah.
Let's see if this video could get 10,000 likes, because it'll never happen. But you can do it.
Likes. If this video can get 100 likes.
No, you're doing it all wrong. You don't get a certain amount of likes. You smash a certain amount of likes.
Yeah, of course.
Can we please get it right?
Smash the like button.
Wow.
Give us 1,000 likes.
All right, I regret it entirely. Chris, move us on, please.
There we go. Yes, and of course that brings us to February, because February, follows January according to Jamie's twisted logic. Who fucking knows how it goes? But yeah, February? That's not a word.
It's a fabulous February.
It was a fabulous February was the month that saw most gamers transfixed by the arrival of Valve's handheld behemoth, the Steam Deck. And behemoth is kind of apt because things pretty fucking. It's like I'm holding my own dick. It's pretty chunky in the
and in your accent, Steam Dick. Steam Dick. It's almost dick as well.
It's a Steam Dick.
Steam Dick.
I mean, I kind of feel like you're turning me into a New Zealander there.
Almost.
But
what's the difference? New
Zealanders are cool. They're not as cool as South Africans. Let's just move on, okay? Because it turned out, consumers didn't need to wait until Christmas for an obese bearded man to ominously linger around their property and deliver gifts, as the company's head honcho, Gaben, took to the streets to hand deliver their gizmo himself.
Oh.
Basically, he went there and he misunderstood the assignment, fellas, because do you ever see that old meme, that music video for Dick in a Box?
Yes.
But Gabe misunderstood the assignment.
I see. Now I just want to see a compilation of all the Ring doorbells around the world of Gabe awkwardly standing on people's front porches with said dick in said box. If anyone out there has that first.
What makes this even weirder was didn't Gabe in his boat move to New Zealand for a period of time? So someone in New Zealand probably said, "Gabe, get your dick in the box." And they were like, he was like, a good idea.
Yeah. Gabe's dick in the box.
In the box.
What more could you ask for?
Well, you could ask for other things. Like, I'll be honest, Chris, while most gamers were locked in Gaben's gaze, some other people ourselves included, had bigger fish to fry, because back here at Super Show HQ, we actually sadly waved Jonesy goodbye as he ventured on a mysteriously timed vacation to Ukraine. Everyone remember that little incident, that podcast incident? Little did we know, he wouldn't return for another 5 weeks. I looked up the channel today and counted them.
I thought it was 6.
Wow.
Was it 5?
Just-
Okay, it was 5.
I think you missed 5 episodes, 6 weeks. It was in that ballpark.
Yeah, Jonesy, I mean, that's how long it took you to sow the seeds of destruction.
It was. Well, it was long enough that some members of the community began to worry for my health, speculating that the first casualty of the Super Show podcast could be approaching. And it was borderline, to be fair.
Well, fortunately for us, Jonesy, I mean, some may say, you turned out to be just fine, but at the same time, couldn't necessarily be said for the industry figures who died this year. So let's take a walk down memory lane.
Hold on.
Box of tissues in our
Hold on.
hands, not for the
Hold on.
tears.
Is this a fucking in memoriam section?
Yeah, bro. Like, I mean, it was either this or, top death of the year.
I don't know how I feel that my ill health of February has prompted I didn't die. Oh, come on, man. But I will. Fuck it. Let's do it. Let's go with it.
Actually, no, stop it. Stop it. Jonesy's right. I don't want any in memoriams. I don't want any top deaths, okay? Even though, that actually sounds pretty cool. I personally...
I think that sounds pretty sick,
That's a
fellas.
Patreon
make
exclusive.
a note, actually. Yeah. When I die, make sure, I'm involved in the top 6 deaths at some point. But for now, this is an actual award show, okay? It's meant to be positive. It's meant to be upbeat. We're meant to be hydrobotting this shit to the next fucking level, not talking about death. So why don't we just switch things up and talk about life for once? Jonesy?
Oh.
No, I absolutely agree, Jamie. And look, given there is nothing more Super Show than a horribly forced segue, let me attempt to turn that plea into the only remote upbeat thing I can think of that's still somewhat death adjacent. Kind of. Ladies and gents, it is time to acknowledge the best video game that somehow didn't die of 2022. You see what I did there? Nick, get in there.
Didn't die.
And the nominations.
Didn't go.
Didn't die. Should have died.
Okay.
Maybe should have died. Could have died. Didn't die. The nominations. The first one is Marvel's Avengers, Skull and Bones, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake, Star Citizen, and Battlefield 2042.
Do you know what I like about this category immediately? Is while some of them would be deaths, others would technically be abortions, and that just makes things even spicier.
Wow. To be fair, there would be 3 in there, which is pretty.
See, I knew this would be contentious because you're counting Star Citizen as an abortion, aren't you?
Of course.
Whereas Star Citizen was born 6 years ago. It's just it's inbred and it's brained. Star Citizen was born.
No.
with potato.
Listen. To come to Jonesy's defense, Star Citizen is it's a fully fledged product. It's not a title. It's not a game. It's a product. And they have fully rolled out exactly what that is. And that is a vehicle to sap you of your consumer money, your interest, your early adopterness.
I know.
And take advantage
what it is.
Of people like you,
I know what
Jonesy.
Star Citizen is.
Yeah.
You know the scene in Alien Resurrection where Ripley walks through the lab and they have all of the abominations
Kill me!
out of Ripley over all the different and some are in tubes. Yeah, and there's the one on the table going, "Kill me!" That is Star Citizen's different iterations that just and this year we could have been the year with the flamethrower where they just torched the whole lot, but they didn't.
But they'll never do it because people like you just keep on giving them money. So
yeah. And maybe that's why, at the end of the day, it's not that surprising that Star Citizen didn't die, because there is still money on the table. Not to kind of jump the gun, though. One game, it is a miracle that it is not only still going, but still being actively supported with a roadmap going into next year. Let's talk about Marvel's Avengers, because we don't do that enough on this podcast.
Easy winner.
What a bizarre thing that is. The Winter Soldier, I think, is happening. I think they might be doing the female Black Panther next year or something like that. I read. That's just
it's funny, isn't it? Because I remember, we covered this ad nauseum. Okay, and it's been a while, so forgive us if we're treading back into the Marvel Avengers waters. But we speculated at the time that they would finish releasing the Superman DLC
Spider-Man.
that they had contracted to do by
Spider-Man.
Sony.
Spider-Man.
What did I say?
Superman.
Oh, well, fuck me. I'm tired, fellas. Yeah, Spider-Man. Sorry. We speculated that they'll finish that and they'll just kind of like put a pin in it. But no, somehow Marvel's Avengers still going. How many people are fucking playing this game still?
I think we knew it was like Black Panther was like a contractual thing. Spider-Man was like a contractual thing. And then I think we all predicted death after like 2 months of the last update coming out. How the hell it's still going is actually impressive. And I think the best video game that somehow didn't die, you cannot take that away from Marvel's Avengers. Skull and Bones shouldn't even be on this list because, quite frankly, it's been given another lease of life and is actually going to be.
I think that
Boys,
sorry, Chris.
Can I just cut in here? So, I mean, if this isn't an omen, fellas, Marvel Avengers. 24-hour peak concurrent players, 666.
What?
The sign.
No,
the
it
mark
isn't.
Of
Is
the
it
beast.
really?
I promise you. Yeah, it is.
That's
freaky.
On Steam charts.
That is amazing.
666.
Maybe that's how it keeps going. Maybe it's
you know.
being fueled by the devil. I don't know. Maybe Satan's got a hand in all this.
I'm not saying it's the devil. It's the
say.
devil, but it's the devil.
But to Jonesy's
Bottoms
point
up.
earlier, the devil is always laughing. Skull and Bones. I think the thing that freaked me out about Skull and Bones is I've been listening to some podcasts of ours lately while, kind of like tracking back through the year we've had. And there's a point.
Feeling nostalgic? Yeah.
Nostalgia and research in equal measure. Let's call it that. But there's a point, Chris, where I think you are flabbergasted when we come to realize that Ubisoft's fall, let's say, Ubisoft's Christmas, it was, and this was after Avatar got delayed, was Mario plus Rabbids and Skull and Bones. The fact that Skull and Bones was the only cross-platform title that Ubisoft had ready for this holiday, and they still delayed it a final time after a beta that was so open that I fucking played it for a weekend, and I'm a nobody. Like that's I just love. You're right. It's no Marvel's Avengers, and we can't be that surprised that something like Skull and Bones, hasn't died when it hasn't come out yet, but it is still fascinating to me. Also, same I guess goes for Prince of Persia, which I love the idea of giving it to that Indian studio. Yeah, exactly. And they had to yank that away from whatever the Indian studio was that was making it. I can't remember which city it was in. And like I hope they can save that.
I think it was Mumbai. See, I think Prince of Persia and Sands of Time remake needs to come off the table anyway, because we talked about deaths for this category. You mentioned abortions. I think you could regard Prince of Persia: Sands of Time as a premature ejaculation. But
wow, we're still that early.
It's spaffed up against. You're saying it's been spaffed up against the wall.
No. So what it was, he was lying on the bed. She was touching him. She's like, "We're going to do this. Let's go for it." And then he went in his pants before they even had their clothes off. And do you know what? I'll give it to you.
It's the American Pie effect.
American Pie. And she could have sent him on his way and said, "Oh, embarrassing, get out." But Prince of Persia: Sands of Time has had a reprieve. It's got another chance. She has lovingly put her hand back on his thigh and said, "It's okay. We'll give it 5 minutes and we can try again." And so that's why Sands of Time should not be the winner for this category.
I think it's a pretty strong argument. I'm leaning Marvel's Avengers here all the way. We haven't even talked about Battlefield 2042, but even that, just Battlefield's Battlefield. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. I had an ad on Twitter the other day. Actually, it's quite funny. It was like, hop back into Battlefield 2042 to see how far it's come. And I was just like, wow, this is where we are in its fucking lifespan. It's like, no, we promise, guys, we've made it better. Come check it out.
Okay, guys, so it seems we have a consensus. Am I correct in saying we're all going to say Marvel's Avengers?
Avengers assemble?
Yeah, nice. Let's do it.
We have assembled around that game to be the winner of the best video game that somehow didn't die in 2022. Woohoo! Or compared to...
You might say, Jonesy, that the Avengers didn't disassemble.
Yes. No? We thought they would.
Maybe.
But they didn't.
Let me do one.
Okay.
If only Square Enix had the vision to know that this wouldn't work.
Nice. I like it. Better than I thought it was going to be, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Wow. If that's the state of things, fellas, well, oh boy, you're going to love March, because March was a month all about learning when enough was enough, and how sometimes it's better to go your separate ways. EA formally withdrew from its license with FIFA after an incredible 30-year run, almost as long as Jamie's life. The ESA gave up on the E3 dream for another year, cancelling 2022's show, and Fortnite finally became apparently a good game by removing the one element that made it unique, which was the fucking boring building.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, I think the thing for me was the building just never looked right. Like, every time you watch someone do it, they were spinning around in circles, they were building shit out of thin air, they were like 100 feet high before you could, say Fortnite Zero build. And it just, for me, like, from what I want from VR, it just completely broke the immersion. And now that it's
not
gone,
realistic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I need that. And now that it's gone, I can finally Kamehameha people as John Cena with a pink unicorn backpack on, and just like zero distractions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes, Jamie. But look, March also became the first of many headfucks for gamers active on social media, as fans around the world took to Twitter to share their excitement at Hogwarts Legacy's first gameplay reveal, boys. Only to subsequently find out that you weren't allowed to look forward to the game or be happy or excited at all, because, of course, J.K. Rowling is an evil, evil transphobe. Ba-dum-dum.
Yeah. So with the... Wow.
You bitch.
So with the Wizarding... fucking
Joanna, you bitch.
What a turf.
So
That's the word,
fellas,
isn't it? Yeah, I forgot. That's the word.
a turf.
Evil turf.
Yeah. Do you know
Let's
what
not go into the
do you know
lingo
what they
now.
call turfs from the future? AstroTurfs. There you go. There's one for you. You people who hate people who hate. I don't know what it means. We probably have to cut a lot of this. We're in trouble. Sorry.
Nah, it's fine. You know what? Just if J.K. Rowling has taught me anything, is just keep going. Just fly in the face of any adversity, and as long as you got money behind you, it's fine.
As long as you got a billion pounds
fellas,
behind you.
I mean, hate to break it to you. Have you checked the Patreon lately, Chris? Like,
Although, tell
fellas,
Kanye
look.
West that.
Oh my God!
Tell Kanye West that as long as you've got the money, you can keep going. Because apparently people could just take it away from you, and then you get all weird and anti-Semitic.
is this getting cut or not?
What? No.
I don't know at this point.
Okay, because I was
Keep
going to
it.
say something else. I was going to say, don't worry.
Oh my goodness! Now everyone's wondering what Jamie was going to say.
I can say what I was going to say. You just reminded me of Kanye West. There was a version of the script earlier. I cut it that had a joke that said one of the a conspiracy theory that Kanye West was secretly one of the writers on God of War Ragnarok, and it was his idea to turn Odin into an evil Jew.
Wow.
Do you know what? Wouldn't have surprised
So
me.
I'm editing this, and this is staying in. So
Wouldn't have surprised me
very
one
good.
bit.
Okay, good. I like it.
That Kanye would have done that.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, fellas, look, let's get back to Harry Potter, okay? Because the wizarding world is no longer on the table, so say the users of Twitter who have now left Twitter. So I don't know what to believe anymore, okay? But hey, you know what? Let's look elsewhere to determine the most anticipated game coming in 2023 and probably beyond, because let's be honest, they're all going to be delayed for another year, because that's just the nature of things these days. So without further ado, fellas, let me massage your ear canals with the following sumptuous names. I'm talking about The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Starfield, Spider-Man 2, Final Fantasy 16, and the Resident Evil 4 remake. Now, fellas, if these games all come out in 2023, how fucking stacked is that year looking?
ASMR for the ears, my friend.
Isn't all ASMR for the ears?
Yes.
Like, what else would it be for?
The testicles.
It's
Could
ASMR
you really
for the
classify
dick,
words
baby.
as... Yeah, but hold on. Could you just classify words as being ASMR? Surely not.
I don't.
It was the way you read it, Chris. It's the transformative quality that you bring to the words you speak.
Mate, when it's go time, all right?
Exactly. I like these. I think I like the sounds of these games. I like the sound of these games coming out in 2023. I think they make sense on a list like this because they all feel somewhat realistic. Like it would be too easy to put like a GTA 6 on a list like this when it doesn't feel real yet, but all of these feel tangible in their own way. Do you know what? Yeah. I might kickstart things by just saying I'm surprised by how much I really just want to get my hands on Starfield and see what that thing is for myself.
Me too.
Okay. So of that list, you two are vying for Starfield.
I'm torn between Starfield and Spider-Man 2. I'm like Spider-Man 2 for me could be an absolute banger. And you know, maybe I am anticipating that a little bit more than I am Starfield. I agree with Jamie with Starfield as well.
I was going to jump in and say the thing with Spider-Man 2 that does kind of like, get me a little bit horny is the prospect that I just think that there are some incredibly smart and savvy people at Insomniac Games.
Yes.
And I can't see them going back to the Spider-Man well to make another like collect the backpack Spider-Man game, another 8 out of 10 Spider-Man game. I think they're going to use the experience that they've built up on, Miles Morales for one, but then even Ratchet and Clank and stuff like that, and hopefully make something that is worth going back to that well for. And that's an exciting prospect.
Recent news that it is PS5 exclusive, right? So no PS4 bullshit dragging it down.
Hell yeah!
Can I posit like a little thing and see if you guys are on board? I feel like this would be not that surprising for me. I feel like neither of you would probably put The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom up there because you've both seen a little lukewarm on it.
Interesting. I'm going to say something now, which is going to absolutely infuriate Jamie.
Okay,
do it.
Yeah, please do it.
So. Okay, so it's no secret that I'm apprehensive about Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Now, Breath of the Wild is maybe like my top 3 games of all time. Like it holds a super special place in my heart, right? And I was kind of like worried that from everything I've seen of the trailers, etc., it seems like they are veering back towards that more traditional Zelda, which some people are happy for. I really don't like it. And I hope that they don't do too much that and they kind of keep that essence that made Breath of the Wild so special. The bullshit about going up into the sky and everything, like Skyward Sword kind of puts me off that kind of thing. But, benefit of the doubt, Nintendo's Nintendo. This is a flagship title for them. They give it a lot of love and care. So I'm hopeful. But if playing God of War Ragnarok has taught me anything, is to not pin up too many expectations on a sequel to a game that I regard very highly.
Boy.
And that's not to say that I think God of War Ragnarok is bad or anything like that. I'm loving it. But sorry, it cannot hold a candle to God of War 2018. So yeah, I don't. It's a no from me, dog. I mean, unfortunately, I can't believe I'm saying it though. Like, of this list, it's not my most anticipated.
That just leaves me curious then, though, that what way are you leaning, Chris? Because I can't pin you down on this category.
Well, I mean, you know my likes and my tastes. What would you reckon?
I mean, I think that there's a chance that you are also leaning Starfield as well, just because I know that you're a big Bethesda Game Studios guy, like you're a big Fallout fan, especially in the past. But Elder Scrolls and Fallout, like in equal measure, by the sounds of things. And so the prospect,
which is like Starfield, right? Like,
right? Well, exactly. Like in theory, yeah. Like that's the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And I just think that's where you're leaning. Looking specifically at these 5. If we blew it out to everything coming in the next few years, there'd be a few wild cards, I'm sure. But these 5,
yeah, bro, of course. Yeah.
I think you're probably leaning Starfield.
Interesting. Wrong.
Oh
no.
Can I just want to get anyone watching, like, I just want to give you a little bit of a treat. Just go back about a minute to when Chris was saying that about God of War and just see Jamie do one of the best Robert De Niro impressions I've seen for a long time. It was absolutely fantastic.
I didn't even do it on purpose. I was just raising my eyebrows and lowering my mouth at the same time.
That was great. Do you know what? I would have said Starfield as well. I totally would have thought you would have said Starfield, Chris. You've now thrown me. I'm going to guess that you're going to go Final Fantasy 16.
Wrong. It's Spider-Man 2, bitches.
Oh, okay.
I fucking cannot wait.
Okay.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? I like Spider-Man came out on PS4. initially I wasn't even going to buy it, and I bought it off of someone at work. Funny enough, like they bought it on release day. They decided they didn't want it. I bought it off them. I was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'll help out a colleague because they're trying to sell it. They don't want it, and I'll probably was going to get the game at some point anyway. Didn't have high hopes for it. The trailers looked fine, but it was like, yeah, sure, whatever. It just looks like a generic kind of like Spider-Man game. It fucking blew me away. Funny enough, not as much as like say God of War or anything like that. But the funny thing about that Spider-Man game is it knew what it was. It did everything that it needed to do perfectly. And it just stuck with me. It just stuck with me in a really pleasant way. Like, yeah, not like, oh, this is a top 5 game that I've ever played in my life, but like just that you know, you close your eyes and you think of a sunny day. That's fucking Spider-Man. Okay, and I was a little bit cooler on Miles Morales, but Miles Morales was fine. It was perfectly enjoyable. And I just think that like take the best bits of Miles Morales, take the best bits of Spider-Man, remove the worst bits from both of them, add in, like Jamie said, a little bit of that like Insomniac ingenuity, and fuck man, like all the ingredients are there. Fucking Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Venom, potentially Kraven the Hunter. Like I'm so ready for this game.
Yeah.
More so than Starfield or Legend of Zelda, because I know that, like, here's the thing, okay, and I know why you would have said Starfield, both of you. And it's definitely up my alley, but I kind of feel that, like, Starfield and to an extent Legend of Zelda is like a game that I need to sit down and I need to kind of be fucking absorbed by and delve completely into it. Whereas Spider-Man is like, I switch on the PlayStation, I'm playing a PlayStation game, I'm having a gas, and I switch off the PlayStation, and I remember the fun times. And that's just what I'm looking for in this list in particular.
Let the children's laughter just remind us how we used to be. That's what I decided long ago. Are we leading Spider-Man?
But do you get what I'm saying, though?
I do.
Yes,
I do.
yes.
Chris wants to have a gas when he's playing. Like, I get it.
Because I know Starfield's going to fucking frustrate me, but I love it. And then I know
Spider-Man 2. Then I think we're going. Are we going Spider-Man 2?
I'm happy to lock that in.
Yeah,
I didn't see it coming, but I'm happy.
There you go. The first controversial one, I think, that's going to have people raging, like outrage that we haven't gone Starfield. But Spider-Man 2 is the most anticipated SuperShow game coming in 2023 and beyond.
Oh, come on, bro! It's just so good.
It is.
Come on.
We didn't even talk about Resident Evil 4 remake, which is there you go. That says everything.
It's gonna be good.
But again, it's gonna be good, as all the remakes have been. But then, like, I feel like Resident Evil 4 doesn't need someone in their corner,
and it's not the most anticipated game of 2023. So there you go.
I mean, for some people, it most definitely is. Like, bro, if you write for a big games publication like your IGNs or your GameSpots, and they've got at least 4 writers on their writing staff that are like, I play Resident Evil 4 once a year just to remind me of how fantastic this game is. I own all the versions. It's like, yeah, okay, geek.
They sound like a cool dude.
Wait for Resident Evil 4 remake.
I don't know what you're talking about. I like the sound of that person. Lads, then we move on to April, which taught us all a pretty important lesson that for as much as we all want the industry to move on, let new ideas breathe and allow original, unique IP to once again rule the roost, you're only ever a remake of Max Payne away from saying fuck all of that shit and getting excited about a 20-year-old game all over again. We'll never learn.
Hold on. Are they remaking Max Payne?
Rockstar gave Remedy permission to remake Max Payne, and we not only talked about it for a whole podcast, but it was our title and thumbnail. I don't know if you were there for that episode.
Yeah, Chris wasn't there for that. Chris wasn't there for that episode.
Okay, there you go. Some news for you in your end of year recap.
No, but
Remedy.
This is not a.
This is 100.
I'm not making a bit like didn't realize this was a fucking thing.
Yeah, Remedy.
Or maybe I did and I've completely forgotten about it. That's mad.
Remedy are full-on ground-up remaking Max Payne in the Control engine and have got the blessing of Rockstar, and I think even Rockstar funding to do so. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
We were psyched.
I've got to change my underwear now.
And
the front bit, not the back bit.
Well, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe both. Give me time.
But look, speaking of continuing to be excited about regurgitated bullshit that was alarmingly average to begin with, April brought the surprise announcement of Kingdom Hearts 4, and everyone rejoiced. It was a reveal that not only added weight to their theory that Nvidia's massive 2021 leak was accurate, which we all suspected all along, but also reminded us that the series was still being developed by, okay, here you go, Square Enix Business Division 3.
Oh, the third one.
The third one. Business Division 3.
Okay. Yeah, all right, fellas. Look, I know you're taking the piss here, okay? But can I give you a little bit of an insight, okay? Naming shit is hard, okay? Take it from someone who gave us the initials of SS for this podcast. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes things
I thought
happen,
you did that on
okay?
purpose.
It's not easy. Well, yeah, I mean, I was, look, fellas, it is part of my grand design, okay? Slap a red SS on a black t-shirt, and Kanye West is your first customer. So you might as well fucking do it.
That's why he's always pushing merch. I knew it.
You see, I'm 4D chess, fellas, okay? This is how it goes. But look, fellas, with that, let us remember our brothers in arms who have failed in that very noble pursuit of discussing the worst video game names of 2022, because who doesn't like fun? Now, I hope you're ready for some vocal word ASMR, some sentence ASMR, because I'm coming at you hard and fast, right for your face, and I'm all lubed up, okay? So I hope you're ready for this, okay? Fucking going raw dogging it, okay? I'm talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel, Dawn of the Battle Royale, let's go Rush! That was one entry, by the way, not multiples, okay?
That's what
Next
she
one,
said.
New Prince of Tennis, let's go! Daily Life, from Rising Beat. Next one, Konosuba, God's blessing on this wonderful world, Cursed Relic, and the Perplexed Adventurers. And another one for you, My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu Game Collection. Another one for you, My Girlfriend is a Mermaid. Refine. Okay. And of course, the last one, Triangle Strategy, because that's what's a fucking.
That
weird.
ASMR is supposed to be nice. That offended my ears. Except for.
No,
except
come
for,
on. You, mate, I can hear the puddle of moisture that you are currently sitting on because of what just transpired. So don't play games with me.
Immediately, Triangle Strategy, quite like that. Don't think that's that bad. Don't think that's that bad at all. Whereas My Girlfriend is a mermaid.
in this company, it's not that bad.
Whereas My Girlfriend is a Mermaid, refined. That just like is offensive.
That's the one that sends me every single time. It's like, because not only does My Girlfriend is a Mermaid, like exclamation mark, question mark, it's like the dumbest title. It just sounds like the most forgettable rom-com from the 90s that, you know, some now major movie star acted in when they were 19. But just having the word refine after it with no context that makes no sense. It's the most Japanese shit ever.
No, I know what's happened here. Do you know that like when people, like they'll draft a tweet and then by mistake they'll send it out?
Yes.
Right? So I think what's happened here is that the title was My Girlfriend is a Mermaid? And then someone wanted to put like
Refine
a note, like, yeah, this is okay, but like refine.
Yes.
And then someone was like, publish draft.
I hate to break it to you, Chris, but the refine is part of the name. It's like, unless the typo made it everywhere from YouTube to PlayAsia.com to the PlayStation Store, this is a game called My Girlfriend is a Mermaid Refine. Wait, can I read? Our protagonist lives out in the city, but one summer decides to return to his rural hometown, and it is there he once again meets his childhood friend Ion, ... who is now a mermaid?
Refine?
I'm in.
With another interrobang.
Yes.
Interrobang is a exclamation mark, question mark. Come on, man.
Yes.
I've said this before.
I didn't know that, but I assumed it, and it's there.
I kind of feel that like it's a little bit of an in-joke just for us, but I kind of feel like you have to say this the way Jimmy would say it.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to do that on this podcast, Jonesy.
No, I'm right, thanks.
Go on, Jonesy.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Let's move on
No
to a
take
different
my
title.
sword.
Let's move on to a
Mermaid.
different game title. My teen romantic comedy Snafu.
I just got it. What is a snafu? Like a snafu's like a tricky situation, right?
Like a little incident.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a bit of a snafu.
Yeah,
But that to me,
my teen romantic comedy. Yeah, but it's all in caps though. Is it like meant to be like a fucking what you call it?
abbreviation.
Like a thingy.
No, an abbreviation.
Abbreviation, yeah.
Maybe it's supposed to be an abbreviation. In which case, we probably need to find out what it stands for. But I can't bother.
It's not abbreviation. Abbreviation is the wrong word, but you know what I mean. I don't know, man. Like My Girlfriend is a Mermaid. It just fits well, doesn't it?
Yeah. I am somewhat perplexed that there were enough teen romantic comedy snafus to make a whole collection out of them. And I also I want to give a shout out to the use of, and I mean, Chris, you pointed this out very well with your tone and your inflections when you're reading it out, but the number of exclamation marks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel, Dawn of the Battle Royale, Let's Go, Go Rush. Like, they really want to hit that home.
There's so many goes in there. A lot of exclamation marks. But what's weird is, okay, so for people who don't or can't see the word, because obviously it's in front of us in the document, but it's Yu-Gi-Oh! 1 exclamation mark. Then Rush Duel, Dawn of the Battle Royale, 2 exclamation marks. Then Let's Go, 1 exclamation mark. Then Go Rush, 2 exclamation marks.
Go Rush!
I mean, I'm kind of feeling that if it was an award for the most use of symbols and exclamation marks and what have you, punctuation, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. Always glad you got my back. Then that would win. But yeah, I think something about like My Girlfriend is a Mermaid, Interrobang, and then Refine.
It's interesting because even like the Konosuba : God's Blessing of This Wonderful World, Curse Relic, and the Team Perplexed Adventures. That's kind of...
but that just sounds like...
it's bad.
That's really Japanese.
It's bad,
though,
but
right?
it's overly descriptive, right? Because it's like Konosuba, okay, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World, exclamation mark, Curse Relic, and the Perplexed Adventures. It's just like overly descriptive. Whereas, My Girlfriend is a Mermaid... exclamation mark, question mark, Refine is just the best. I like that's easily the worst. It's the best of being the best.
Let me ask you this. New Prince of Tennis, Let's Go, exclamation mark, Let's Go in all caps. Then tilde, daily life tilde, tilde is a little squiggle line. But then it says from Rising Beat. Is Rising Beat the like publisher or developer of this game?
Again, just descriptive. It's bad because it's descriptive. But again, in New Prince of Tennis, Let's Go. I'm like,
but you see, maybe that
maybe go with New Prince of Tennis.
But maybe that needs something, right? Because maybe that's like saying The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom by Nintendo.
Ooh.
Or
I could see
Final Fantasy 16 by Square Enix.
Death Stranding 2, from Hideo Kojima, is the one that I could very easily see happening.
Yes, absolutely. So I don't think that's not fair for that to win. Again, I always come back to My Girlfriend is a Mermaid.
Refine. It gets my vote.
Yeah, I'm in there as well.
I just love the Refine on the end.
Refine.
Yeah. I think we've refined our votes enough.
Maybe you have to refine the fish.
Lock it in.
You got to refine the fish out of her. Maybe. Anyway,
I don't know.
Do you think when they say mermaid, do you think like fish bottom or fish top?
Bottom. Come on, man, fish bottom. Surely.
Is that really what you want in a girlfriend?
You want fish top?
Yeah, but you might not want fish bottom either, mate.
You are filth. If you're saying you want fish top, that means all you want to do is something to bang, and you don't care what the top half looks like. At least I'm having a lovely chat with her about what it's like swimming under the sea. You are filth. You just want to bang a fish hole.
So, congratulations to My Girlfriend is a Mermaid, Refine, and you've won the SuperShow Award for the worst video game name of 2022. Confetti, celebrations.
Yeah. Woo.
No one's fucking fish tops. Right, moving on, because I don't know what punishments YouTube doles out for talking about fucking dolphins on this fucking platform, but we're not finding out the hard way. Let's get back to the calendar. And next up was May, which all of you can remember however you please. But for us here at the Super Show, May will always be the month where Jonesy tried to take YouTube thumbnails to the absolute limit, to the next level, with an image so frightening that apparently I've heard, top secret, it's in the running for the next entry in the Dark Pictures Anthology series. Yeah, what a work of art.
Oh, it was. Just remind me, is this a thumbnail that actually went live on our video?
No, this is a picture that Jonesy took of a work in progress thumbnail on his computer and sent to us to say, "Hey, what do you guys think about this?" And I do have that picture.
I thought I think I might have shared it on the Discord. Did I share it?
It is. That's how I found. That's how I came across it. Was on the Discord.
No, I think I shared it. I think I shared it on the Patreon
Wow.
Discord, so it's the patrons can see it as well. I think I did.
Oh, the Patreon Discord, where you can get access for $2, for as little as $2 per month.
For anyone listening if there is an audio version of this product, I don't know if there will be yet, but for anyone listening to it, imagine, if you will, Lara Croft in all her polygon-titted glory with a for sale kind of like badge, like sticker on her, like a price tag, if you will. And in the pedo from Family Guy poking his head in the side of the frame with a speech bubble coming out of him that says, "Mommy?" ? I don't know if the implication is he's buying her or doing something worse, but I'd rather not find out.
Oh, I just realized which one it was, because I was getting confused, because there was another time that Jonesy made a thumbnail where it was, I can't remember who it was. Who was it?
It was the shot of, what is her name?
Cardi B.
It was Bayonetta or something.
No, it was Cardi B from Bodak Yellow, and I replaced her face with, was it Phil Spencer's face? I can't remember whose face it was.
I can't remember either.
Oh, that one. Funnily enough, Jonesy, for the trifecta, that's not the one I was thinking of.
Okay.
No, this was a work in progress thumbnail where you had, maybe it was Bayonetta in the center of the frame, and you had 3 like male game characters like around them, but the way that it was arranged, just looked really, really rapey.
You were doing the Pornhub meme with like the one girl on the sofa.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. It was just. And Chris was like, "This looks so wrong," and I looked at it again. I was like, "Oh, all right, maybe." And then
Yeah, it's just. No, you didn't do it on purpose, but it did just come across as a little bit rapey, and I was like, maybe not.
Look a bit wrong, hence not being used. But look, let's get back to May, because fortunately for us, Embracer Group's acquisition spree meant an old white pedo didn't get their hands on Lara Croft. As we all know, they only work for Ubisoft and Activision. The ding ding.
Oh,
pedo burn.
It was also another step away from Western development studios for Square Enix, who are rapidly running out of non-Japanese teams to blame for the inevitable failure of Forspoken.
What, you mean they couldn't blame fucking Business Division 68?
They've got enough.
I mean, they probably
a shame.
will. We need to start getting Jonesy like those radio DJ for every time we make sick burns.
It's just a button.
I need a drum kit.
Yeah. You see, he goes old school with it. That's why I appreciate him. But look, fellas, Square's loss could be Embracer Group's gain, if you get my drift, okay? And boy, are they hedging their bets. Aspia, Tripwire Interactive, Eidos Montreal, Crystal Dynamics, Middle-earth Enterprises, and more got, shall we say, embraced from behind in 2022. And all for a fraction of the $15 billion it cost Mark Zuckerberg to build effectively what looks like a GameCube game. Let's be honest here, because that fucking VR Horizon bullshit is atrocious. Yeah, much worse. Now, analysts speculate that as a result of this unprecedented growth, there's an increasing chance they might actually oversee the release of a decent game by 2024, 2025, somewhere around there. I mean, nothing's impossible. And fellas, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm feeling kind of bullish right now.
Yeah, I'm with you, Chris. Team Embracer all the way. 2024, they got what? The whole of 2023 to release a single good product. And they may well do it. But if they don't, hey, these things happen because, you know what? Making decent games is hard at the end of the day. I mean, just ask Gotham Knights developers Warner Brothers Montreal, because May was actually the month where they finally put their money where their mouth was and made Gotham Knights a next-gen exclusive so they could squeeze all the juice out of those consoles. Do you know why they did it, guys? Do you remember the quote? I've got it actually here in front of me, if you don't. They said they did it to, quote, provide players with the best possible gameplay experience. So rock on.
Oh, yeah, I see that. Always thinking of the gamers, Warner Bros. Montreal.
Kudos to them. Okay. And now let's move on a completely and totally unrelated note. Let's move on to our next award and take a look at the biggest fucking lies the industry told us in 2022.
Hold on, Jamie. I think you're lying there. Unrelated? Come on, mate.
You rumbled me, Chris. You caught me out. Unfortunately, though, because we used it as a segue, it's not up for the award. We've got a bunch of different nominees, including Helena Taylor and that mysterious $4,000 offer, to reprise her role as Bayonetta. id Software's counterclaims against the composer Mick Gordon. Some dude called Minecravenger, whose name I'm probably saying wrong, and his infamous Minecraft records after he himself shot down the legend of the face reveal, Dream. Sega's vow to avoid NFTs, that's a quote, and, of course, one of my favourite stories from the early parts of the year, EA claiming that they believed Battlefield 2042's failures were owed to Halo Infinite being good. I don't know. That is a fun one.
Popular,
but it is also just like there's a certain amount of fun to be had reflecting on the year that Halo Infinite ended up having and thinking that at the start it was actually plausible that EA thought that was one of the reasons Battlefield 2042 underperformed. We now know that those are both just poorly supported video games with audiences and communities that I feel tragically sorry for.
This is so fucking crazy.
Yeah. Do you know who I don't feel as sorry for as I did at the time?
Helena Taylor?
Helena fucking Taylor.
That was juicy.
I think she was just... Boys, I think she was just off her meds. I mean, can we really,
Yes. That was like... I
think we
can. The funny thing about that was it was so provable. It was so easy, apparently, to prove it was bullshit, which was great. Because as soon as a journalist can just like read a couple of emails and go, oh, she made this shit up. That was great. Like, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
You know what's really interesting about that one though is if you watch those videos, because she released them like always like released on Twitter or some shit. It was like really weird. But the way it was recorded was, and I'm not saying that this is what happened because quite clearly she's a little bit nutso and a big fat liar. But it did have a whiff of kind of like putting a hostage in front of a camera and getting them to speak.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like there's a gun being pointed at her off.
They're treating me nicely. Please pay the man so they don't kill me and cut off another finger. But yeah, like just absolutely mental. But like, I'll be honest, I live for shit like this. Like I live for someone coming out like with a sob story, and I the part that I live for about it is getting swept up in and be like, oh yeah, man, fuck, that really sucks. I wish they'd come to a resolution. And then all the fucking shit leaking out after that. And I just live for drama, is what I say.
Like,
spill the tea.
Like, there's something about the Mick Gordon drama that ended up being a he said, she said that you, like, I don't know, it just felt a bit messy. Like, I felt sorry for Mick Gordon, but I didn't want to, like, take umbrage with id or Doom because I liked that studio and I liked that series. But Helena Taylor was just this, like, classically trained actress unknowingly wading into the world of like video game rumors and like at one point suggesting that journalists like Jason Schreier were bought, which like, don't get me wrong, people have come to that conclusion before, but I don't think anyone's done it as quickly as she did. And for as much as I almost feel sorry for her, like not knowing what she was getting into, for me that's the winner here. And that was a shit show of a sequence of events.
I'm tempted with, say, like Sega trying, I think, to get a bit of their audience, of their customers on side by going, hey, look, we're going to avoid NFTs. A straight out lie until they decided they were actually going to do it. But you could have said that maybe their plans weren't to do it at that point. But the thing that cinches it with Helena Taylor for me has to be, guys, the fact that she told people to boycott that game. So she didn't even, it wasn't just the lie. She then said, you need to boycott Bayonetta 3 because of the lie. And I think that for me cinches it.
Wow.
I think we might have a winner.
Out of a majority of three, 2 people, because I think I still would have gone id Software's Mick Gordon claims. It's weird because like it's kind of like strangely still going on. Funnily enough, like who fucking knows? Like Mick Gordon took his fucking time to come back and slap id with a whole bunch of stuff, but it's just something about that whole thing just sounds so fucking weird. And yeah, I don't know. It's like you said, like I feel that like the players in that genre are just kind of like too involved.
Yeah.
To not, but you got, you know what? Majority wins. Helena Taylor, you are a big fat liar.
Yeah, I guess so.
Congratulations.
Hey,
to be fair, well done, Helena Taylor. You've won the award for the biggest liar of the industry of 2022. So she's won something.
Someone call her agent.
She's won something. That's good.
I think she'll be delusional enough to kind of make another Twitter video being held at gunpoint with the award that we'll send her. and be like, oh yeah, thanks for this, guy.
I mean, okay, this is getting too dark now, right? Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on to June, because listening to all of that might be enough to convince you that these are dark times for the industry. And Sony certainly didn't do anything to help that back in June when they decided it was time to revamp PlayStation Plus with a handful of new tiers, benefits, and exclusives that made no goddamn sense, and I had no idea when it came out. It was ridiculous. And I was one of the fans who couldn't get too excited because I was trying to figure out what the hell it all meant and how it was going to work and what I'd have to pay for. So,
yeah, it was the dumbest rollout I've perhaps ever seen in my life. And I'm 29.
Wow. Yeah, fucking hell. Dark times indeed, Josie. And look, in dark times, we look to special individuals like the SuperShow to light the path. And individuals like the notoriously camera shy Jeff Keighley.
And I will just interject here and say that like him lighting the path has nothing to do with his personality or anything like his shoes are just that shiny. They just naturally light the way.
So look, fellas, with ESA out of the picture, okay, Jeff made it his personal mission to ensure the spirit of E3 lived on during the month of June. He's a good guy. He's just doing it, making sure that the spirit endures. It's got nothing to do with like, stabbing a knife, a shiv into like the kidneys and the livers of the ESA and just being like, fuck you guys, you're not going to come back from this. You're not going to recover. No, it's fucking summer game.
Jeff is nothing if not, he's the least vindictive guy I've ever met in my life.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, so from the Resident Evil 4 reveal to a first look at the Starfield gameplay, the industry came alive for a summer of anticipation, excitement, and confirmation that all of the shit you'd seen leaked on Twitter was pretty much 100% accurate.
That's right, because for some, summer 2022 will be remembered as the summer of leaks, because some loose-lipped social media users even became minor celebrities for a hot minute, with the snitches' cryptic clues captivating gamers around the world. And we, lads, we were no strangers to that as well. We were captivated. We were held in the snitches' grasp. So, to honour the controversy...
Who doesn't love a leak?
I love leaking. It's absolutely phenomenal. So, to honour the controversial pursuit of leaking, we thought we would tip our hat to the best video game leaker of 2022. The nominations for this award are The Snitch, of course, Jason Schreier, Jeff Grubb, Tom Henderson, Dan Allen Gaming, and my cult in Cult of the Lamb.
I just want to address the elephant in the room. I personally put forward Jonesy's cult in Cult of the Lamb as leaker of the year because I heard that lot could just not stop pissing and shitting everywhere.
That's true.
I heard that's what Jonesy spent most of his time just cleaning up piss and shit and the vomit that resulted from that piss and shit. So that sounds pretty leaky.
It's a literal leak.
Yeah, I was kind of like going for the hyper literal interpretation of the award there. I understand that it's not in the spirit of leaking, but I do love poo.
Yeah.
All of these.
Who is Dan Allen Gaming?
So that was also a joke where Dan Allen Gaming is a YouTuber who has like a regular YouTube channel, uploads like gameplay videos, and actually gets some relatively viral hits by interviewing voice actors. He was the one who became like he made a Twitter account called like The Insider or something like that. Who blew up like really quickly, and it turned out that he was just a YouTuber who was just breaking NDAs.
Yeah, didn't he reply? So someone asked him, "Are you Dan Allen Gaming?" And he replied, "No," but he forgot to switch his Twitter and he forgot to his reply.
He basically got outed by affiliates. So I just thought it would be a funny little nod to someone who was so captivated by the snitch they tried to become them.
Boys, it's got to be him because he leaked himself.
You're right. That's the biggest leak of all time.
Oh no, that's actually a good point. Like it's either the snitch 100%. Like the other guys, fair play to them, doing good work.
Yeah,
but it's either the snitch or it's Dan Allen Gaming. Like,
I think
I'm throwing up my fucking both hats onto fucking Dan Allen Gaming
himself.
It's got to be.
The snitch is an icon, but leaking that you have made yourself a leaker and risking your entire YouTube career in the process is iconic.
Yeah.
So shout out to Dan Allen.
Dan Allen, you are the winner of
the
best video game leaker of 2022. Well done for leaking.
I love it.
Well done, you fucking dingus.
Lads, let's move on to July. And July actually the word rhymes with dry, which is very fitting because July was very dry.
July was dry.
For,
I see it. Yeah, cool.
For video game news. Like
Dry.
Like not much happened in the month of July for video game news. It was dry July.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
it was dry.
yes, as Jamie so gracefully put it, podcast topics were few and far between. Don't worry, Jamie, I'll do it for you, okay? I'll explain it for you because, there was not much to talk about, okay? The industry took its regularly scheduled break from new releases, and things got so desperate, we almost made a podcast about Finn getting nerfed in Multiverses. True story.
Yeah.
Hand on heart. Almost that.
It was on the list. It could have happened. But unsurprisingly, we in the end just fell back on an old favourite and made a podcast where we speculated about GTA 6 because that's just the way the podcasting game works, folks. When in doubt, resort to GTA.
But
low-hanging fruit.
So, hey, look, sometimes it has to happen, all right? But easy wins are not always something to be ashamed of. No, that wasn't just Blizzard's mission statement for Diablo Immortal. It's also a lesson that the film and TV industries remind us of regularly this year. Cuphead, Uncharted, Halo, Sonic, Resident Evil, Cyberpunk. Everywhere you look, there was a game being adapted for another medium, and the fun will not stop into next year either.
Yeah, that's right. We got, of course, The Last of Us coming to HBO, right? Remember that one, guys? And in fact, speaking of, going back to the calendar, the year in review, it was in July that Amazon announced the first major star to join their upcoming Fallout TV show. And it was none other than Mr. Kyle MacLachlan. I guess that movie star you like is coming back in style.
Right. Is that a Twin Peaks joke?
Yes, it's Kyle MacLachlan. It's Kyle MacLachlan. I'm working with what I've got here, Chris. Let's please move on.
Okay. Look, fine, but let's be honest here, Jamie. Okay, video games are pretty much guilty of it too. Whether it's a cheeky cameo here or an on-stage appearance there, the games industry still loves a good celebrity. So let's take a look at the best celebrities appearing in games in 2022. I'm talking about Al Pacino for the Game Awards, Josh Duhamel for the Callisto Protocol, Carrie Ann Moss in Horizon Forbidden West, Andy fucking Samberg in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. And of course, everyone's favorite reformed rabbi, Bill Clinton in Elden Ring.
Clinton.
Yeah.
Oh, fellas. Clinton, yeah?
He played the pot, right? That was the gimmick there?
I believe he was.
Alexander, yeah.
Yeah, Alexander the Pot, as played by reformed rabbi Bill Clinton. I'm all about it.
Do you know how you knew it was a reformed rabbi?
That small Jewish boy told me.
That just sounds so wrong. A small Jewish boy told me.
Do you know what? I know I said Clinton, but actually, for Pacino just saying he didn't know why he was at the Game Awards because he'd agreed to do something else he probably shouldn't, I think actually I might need to change my vote to Pacino.
I think also the fact that, technically speaking, joking aside, both these things happened on the same night just goes to show how important the weird award shows like that still are for moving the needle on the dumbest celebrity. Like, I could have included the fucking crime boss Rocky City or whatever. Like, Michael Madsen could be on this for all we
That game should win.
Do you know what? That game probably should win.
Maybe the year that it
comes
out.
At the same time, this was also the year of reformed Rabbi Bill Clinton, and I'm going to have a tough time seeing past that.
Yeah, that is very true.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Bill Clinton wins it. I mean, it's clearly his highest accolade that he's ever received in his life. Like, U.S. president, fucking SuperShow Game of the Award 2022 winner.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no comparison.
That acceptance speech is going to rival Helena Taylor's in awesomeness. I'm looking forward to it. Congrats, Bill.
Yeah. Well done, Bill. He's old. He's going to take every win he can get at this age. But let's move on, because August was a month that, with hindsight, felt like a hive dream. Like the industry collectively decided to drop acid as a fun way to see out the summer, and we were left to deal with the consequences.
Chris is going through said trip right now.
Whew, sorry, fellas. Look, some jackass made the entire industry collectively believe that Amazon were going to acquire EA Games. Someone said that.
I don't even remember who at this stage.
It might have been me. I was high off of the Blizzard acquisition kind of leak.
Yeah.
There's your leaker of the year. But anyway, the arrival of the Winter Soldier reminded the world that by some miracle, Marvel Avengers still had a pulse, and Fortnite let everyone make Goku do the gritty. So, yeah.
I'm doing the gritty right now in podcast form. There you go. Everyone, nice. Jonesy, this is the point where we realise that Jonesy doesn't know what the gritty is.
I have no idea what a gritty is.
I would take the piss out of him for, but I found out what the gritty was like when it came to Fortnite, which was probably a year after the first someone first did it in the NFL as a celebration.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, but then all that sounded fucked up. We got through it, and then just when we thought we were in the clear, Mr. Keeley swept in once again with Opening Night Live, and a show that felt like the most fucked up hallucination imaginable, because apparently all of a sudden that one dude who used to work at Rockstar is making a game within a game called Everywhere. There's a dark gothic Pinocchio game that actually looks quite good, and again, perhaps the most fucked up thing of all, Dead Island 2 is real and it's back.
And apparently never left, and is a thing, and is coming out. Yeah, amazing.
Who thought?
Amazing. But look,
and fellas, actually looks pretty fucking cool.
I mean, it could be fun. Yeah, why not?
It really does. As just like the Pinocchio thing, which looks surprised, like you said, looks really good and weird. Like, I don't know what's going on there. But look, regardless of whether or not that felt like a bad road trip, Jeff emptying his sack of announcements was a welcome distraction, as gamers soon discovered that Saints Row would be the latest addition to the unpleasantly long list of underwhelming releases. So let's take a depressing but surprisingly earnest look back at the most disappointing games of 2022. Can you guess?
I think, I've got a few ideas.
I'm talking...
Yeah, I can guess.
Babylon's Fall, Saints Row, Crossfire X, Ghostwire Tokyo, and Jamie has already mentioned it once earlier. Come on. It is, of course, Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
I think it's this harsh putting Ghostwire in here.
Ghostwire may be a little bit harsh, but I don't think it was unfair to hope for better. But you're right. Like, it's disappointing, but it's not. It's probably the best game on this list. In fact, I'd say it's definitely the best game on this list.
It also probably didn't kind of like oversell itself more than what it was.
True.
Right?
True.
I
think that means it's safe.
I think I'm gonna have to 86 Gotham Knights from this list as well, because it's the most disappointing. I don't think Gotham Knights in the end was that like keenly looked forward to. You know, I thought people thought it was going to be mediocre. It was pretty mediocre. For me, there is one clear winner out of all of these, and it's Saints Row, because what a dumpster fire pile of shite that game was.
I remember on the podcast at the time going on a pretty impassioned rant that Saints Row was not just disappointing in and of itself, you know, as a game, but also disappointing because it was the reboot of a franchise that we all hoped would find new legs going into this next generation of consoles. And it is D-O-motherfucking-A. And now Volition have been absorbed into Gearbox. And like, this might have killed one of my favorite series of all time. That is a bummer.
Man, yeah, I think... Jamie, I think I've never heard you as angry this year on the podcast than when you were talking about Saints Row.
I cared, man. I wanted it to be good.
Personally, on like an actuality kind of thing, I probably would have gone for Babylon's Fall.
No, you would have been wrong. The most disappointing was Saints Row.
Chris has got a point with Babylon's Fall in that, like, it's a platinum developed like action game that they were going to, in theory, you could have imagined them drawing some of the best live service influences from, you know, the Destinies of the world and bring it all together into a beautiful mishmash of genres, and they fucked every single genre that they went for. Like, yeah.
So same with Crossfire X with fucking Remedy at the helm for the single player campaign. But yeah, like, you know what? Like, I think for the people pleaser, I'm gonna go with you guys and say Saints Row, especially because Jamie, you just, I mean, yeah, your passion was on display there, buddy.
Yeah. Give me the rights to Saints Row. How about that? As a, I'll make the next Saints Row game. It's fine.
Well, in maybe the most
hell yeah. What's
So, well, it may be, I was going to say, maybe one of the most depressing awards of the night. It sounds like we're all agreeing that Saints Row was the most disappointing game of 2022.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Saints Row. You fucked up.
Yeah.
But fellas, listen, by September, it was finally time to pour one out. That's right. This was the month when Google finally announced that Stadia would be shutting down on January 18th in a move that made me really wonder how it hadn't happened earlier. In my mind, it was like, no, Stadia was dead, but apparently not. So January 18th, mark it in your calendars. That's right. Entire handfuls of gamers were forced to prepare their goodbyes for the ecosystem that they had fallen in love with, as millions of others around the world shrugged with the real kind of I told you so energy. Big I told you so energy.
Yeah. Plus, Chris, like, it wasn't just Google Stadia and the plethora of Google Stadia fans. Let's not forget Jonesy, who saw the odds slashed on the countless number of bets he had made with people around the world when it came to the future of cloud gaming. And actually, speaking of which, Jonesy, I think you owe me 20 quid. And a PS5 controller, actually.
How very dare you, sir. Outrageous. Despicable.
No. Just going to leave that there. Leave it with you.
Fellas, look, I don't have time for a 5-hour podcast, so we're not going to go there again.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on. Because Overwatch 2's newest hero, Kiriko, was finally revealed in September with the game's first new healer in 3 years tucked snugly away on the Battle Pass as per industry standard. And boy, I remember the shitty old days of microtransactions and loot boxes. But now all you have to do, boys, is pour hundreds of hours into every single video game you purchase so that you can get all of those lovely virtual goodies for free. It's a perfect system. It's lovely.
Flawless.
It's like communism.
Yeah. Shout out to battle passes. I love them.
Well, look, in life, fellas, and Jonesy, you know, like, some things, they just don't always go your way, okay? You want horse armor, you want to pay for it? No. Horse armor is only available in the Elder Scrolls 6 Battle Pass that takes you 60 hours to complete, okay? So you're just going to have to deal with it. And boy, oh boy, if any game company learned that this year, nobody learned that lesson more in September than Rockstar Games.
That's right, Chris. The infamously tight-lipped team behind Grand Theft Auto actually found themselves subject to one of the biggest leaks in video game history. 90 videos, over 50 minutes of work-in-progress footage, and it all found its way online, baby.
Stunned, lads, stunned were the gamers when they saw it. Will the finished product look like this? Will this mean GTA 6 is delayed? Do I actually have to play as a woman? Say it ain't so. It was a story so all-encompassing that for a solid few days, almost every gamer in the country forgot that the Queen had actually just died. So RIP, Liz. Sorry.
Yeah. I forgot the Queen just died until just now.
Get over it, fellas.
R.I.P.
Well, R.I.P. to the woman she used to be. Living. No longer. Fellas, look, it's all an important reminder that, hey, you know what? Making games is a long, hard, and testing process. One that in a lot of cases doesn't yield results until the final weeks of production. True. We've spoken about it before, fellas. It's the hockey stick effect, or as some might say, you know, the contours of Alex Jones's penis. Just really, really, really long, thin, scrawny, long, and bent just at the edge. Just a little up tick, just like that. So look, let's put wireframes and debug menus to one side. And Jonesy's spot hitter, please don't do that with your fingers, to the other side. And let's just get all of that aside and celebrate the best looking game of 2022. I'm talking, fellas, Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, A Plague Tale, Requiem, and Tunic. You know, because it looks nice.
I think Tunic's a pretty looking game.
For me, a weird one from me, shout out to Gran Turismo 7.
Do you know what? Like, yeah, cars, right?
Look, cars. Phenomenal.
I kind of want to say yes, but at the same time, I also want to say no because
Cars and Rocks,
like
and Cars
every
and Rocks
time,
and Cars and Rocks look great.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like every time like a AAA racing game comes out, it's like, oh my God, this looks fucking amazing. Like every time a mainline Forza comes out, every time a Gran Turismo comes out, and it's like the fidelity and the love and care and craft put into these games is astonishing. But I kind of feel that like that's been true for a number of years, for a number of entries in these AAA racing games. I think it's Horizon, fellas.
I think it might be Horizon as well,
or Plague Tale.
I think that Turn 10 are going to do that Forza Motorsport reboot this year, and we're going to have one of those moments where we're like, oh, Gran Turismo 7 looks great, but this looks better. And that's where I kind of...
Yeah, they just leapfrog each other at this point, right? Like, it's just you're at the apex, and yeah, fine.
I think I'm actually going to join Chris on Team Horizon for this one. Shout out Plague Tale, looks solid. Tunic, love the art style. I think it's cool to give a shout out to something that's not conventionally best looking game of the year. But Horizon, like every time I see an open world game now, I'm like, that's cool, but it's not Horizon.
Yeah.
It set the bar for me for open world games.
Fair.
That's kind of nuts. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Horizon. I think that was I think that was the quickest we kind of fucking agreed on something. Horizon, nice. Congratulations, you Dutch bastards. All right,
we should give them a what is it? A schmuck and a pancake to celebrate, or
a schmuck and a pancake.
A pipe and a crepe.
A blunt and a blitz. Blini?
Do you know what they say about podcasting is when you've run out of Austin Powers gold member jokes to regurgitate, that's when you know you've hit rock bottom. Maybe it's time to pack it in, fellas. Yeah. Oh, the year didn't pack it in, though. It rolled on to the next month, and for anyone who's keeping track, that next month was October. And boy, oh boy, Ubisoft employees didn't have to wait until the end of the month for a fright, as it only took the first 4 days for Beyond Good and Evil 2 to officially overtake Duke Nukem Forever and, are you ready for this, claim the title as the most delayed video game of all time. Like, people, I think, sometimes remember, like, the more recent reintroductions of Beyond Good and Evil 2 as the actual first introductions, but actually, like, Beyond Good and Evil 2 has been around for 15 years now. And counting. Which, hey, it's not exactly one for the trophy shelf, but I suppose if you're Ubisoft, then you kind of just sort of take what you can get these days.
Which, Jamie, of course, is sage advice, and one of our award winners already probably should have taken that advice. I'm, of course, talking about Helena Taylor, because that's right, this was the month that we've talked about that the former Bayonetta voice actress actually made the headlines after claiming that she was only offered the $4,000 to reprise her role, only for a few of those pesky journos to actually do a bit of investigating, a bit of journoing, and to figure out that she was a huge liar.
But, you know, big fucking liars aside, we can sympathize. Holding on to gigs in this economy is tough. I mean, October was also the month Comcast announced that G4 TV would once again be closing down. So, congratulations. The Washington Post reported that constant pivots, high costs, and controversy bedeviled the directionless network. But according to SuperShow's own sources, the real problem was that nobody fucking watched it. Go figure.
Yeah, that's a tough break when you're trying to run a TV network. You might want to look into that one, G4. Just an idea for round 3. But the moral of the story is that all good things must come to an end, which isn't a reflection on the quality of G4 TV. It's just a saying. I mean, and also, that also doesn't apply to Ubisoft development cycles. They can apparently continue indefinitely. But other than those few things, most good things must come to an end, I guess. I mean, like God of War Ragnarok, Return to Monkey Island, Postal 4. There were some beloved gaming sagas that reached conclusions of one sort or another this year. So why don't we take that as an opportunity to reflect on the best video game story of 2022? And the nominees for that honor include God of War Ragnarok, Immortality, Pentiment, Citizen Sleeper, A Plague Tale Requiem. This, of course, like I mentioned, is the best video game story of 2022. It is also known as the category of games, the category filled with games that you didn't play, but cool, trendy, hipstery people online promised you are good.
Can I jump in there? Because a trendy hipster told me that Immortality was very good, and he actually did play it, and he sold it. And I actually looked into it, and I thought it was a very cool game, cool story, great presentation style, interesting, and I'm of course talking about Jamie. So my vote will be Immortality. I think
Hipster Jamie.
The weird thing is, your vote is in me, and like you're voting for Immortality vicariously through me. I'm torn between Immortality and Ragnarok, but I might actually go Immortality as well, just because Ragnarok and Chris, like I know you're not all the way there yet, but I wonder if some of this rings true for you. It's long enough and all encompassing enough, and there's enough characters and branches and moments and blah 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 that there are inevitably rough edges and slow sequences and patches that aren't quite as riveting as anything else. But Immortality is not only pretty tight, but you only ever consume as much as you want to, which is pretty convenient when it comes to engaging with a story.
Yeah. Like, I think as much as I like the characterization in God of War Ragnarok, and to be fair, I haven't finished the game just yet. I think I'm maybe shy of like 5 hours finishing the game. But I kind of feel like the story is very much goes between paint by numbers and a bit boring at times, but with really good kind of like characters and character development. So I wouldn't give it best story. And I think for a game that is all about the story and Immortality, and the fact that they made 3 fucking movies like for this game, you just got to give it to them, right?
Yeah. I think that's it then. Congratulations to Immortality and Mr. Sam Barlow for winning a coveted... We need to give the awards a nickname, like a Super Showy. You won a Super Showy.
Oh, yeah. We do need a name for that, don't we?
A Super Showy.
Yeah, just food for thought.
The statue is a guy just like pulling his coat apart, about to show it.
Well, hang on though. We talked about this earlier. Chris did the design already for the award. It is an SS. We're still workshopping.
Can he not wear the SS on his jacket?
Yeah, and
he comes in the form of a badge.
No, it's actually an armband. Actually, so I just thought I'd try something different this year. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he's mixing it up a little bit. Did you see the one design he sent over with the lightning bolt on?
Yeah. Was that the one with the eagle on it as well? Or was the eagle the different?
Yeah. You've got it now. I see you saw that draft as well.
I did.
Good work.
Bro, eagles are sick. Yeah. Eagles are sick. I mean, what you're talking about.
That's why you picked it.
Wait, Chris always does that, and skulls and everything. He always wants a skull in his designs. Very strange. Very strange.
Often hammers and sickles and just all kinds of weird instruments.
Yes, yeah. But talking about like Chris being weird, we also need to talk about something else that's a little bit weird, which is wrapping up. Getting to the end of this list. We're now in November, lads. We've moved on to November, and November's odd because it literally just happened. A mere month ago, as I'm sure you. Should hopefully realise by now, you haven't lost it that much by the end of the year. Remember when legendary Sonic designer Yuji Naka got arrested for insider trading, or maybe when all of the crazy motherfuckers made Pokemon Scarlet and Violet the fastest selling game in Nintendo's history? I mean, of course you remember it, because like I said, it just happened. It bloody happened a month ago.
But look, not all news has the same shelf life. Sure, the Zuck, he fired 11,000 people after he realized no one wanted to spend any time in his PS2 looking fucking shit show of a VR thing with legs that didn't turn out to be legs and is an inferior version to VR chat in every single conceivable way. But hey, you know what? A few weeks on, who's talking about it? Us, now. But other than that, I don't know.
Good point.
And look... fellas, okay, if you want to stand the test of time, you've got to put the cat amongst the pigeons, all right?
It's true. Like, hey, if we're talking about like weird social media people, it's like when Elon Musk bought Twitter, right? It's the social media platform of choice for many game makers, for players, for journalists around the world. We're guilty of it. Like, it's the social media platform that I feel like the three of us engage with the most on a day-to-day basis for gaming news and gaming discussions. And some people were genuinely afraid that the home of that discourse that they pretend to hate was under threat under Elon's rule. In fact, many figures from around the games industry, journalists from the likes of Kotaku and Polygon, they even took to Twitter to complain about Twitter, then threatened to leave Twitter by informing their Twitter followers that they were moving to a new Twitter-like platform before returning to Twitter to engage with responses on their own tweet and see what everyone else was panicking about next. on Twitter.
Look, okay, Jamie, look, you jest, okay, but some of us, we're still, a little bit worried, and I'm legitimately unsure of what the future looks like, of what the future holds. So I'm just going to take this moment just to address the audience and say I'm going to put my links in the description of this video, so you can find my Mastodon, my co-host, my Hive, and my Grinder and stuff. So yeah, just check out the links. It's all good.
Right.
One of these things is not like the others.
Well, sure, you do you. Well, but look, fella, the point is this, okay? The bigger the shit show, the more people will care. So let's take a look at the worst game of 2022 that weird people on the internet pretended to like. Ooh. All right? Say it with me. Ooh. All right. Could I interest you in some nominees?
Yes, please.
In the form of Sonic Frontiers, Marvel Snap, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, High on Life, and Genshin Impact.
Man,
Ooh.
this is controversial.
Ooh. Is it?
Well, I feel like the contentious word. I feel like the contentious word is pretended. Like there is something vaguely offensive about going up to someone and like attacking their identity in such a way where you're like, yeah, you don't even like that thing you think you like. But there is also a part of me that believes that no human likes Sonic Frontiers. I don't know why I believe that, but that's how some people don't believe 9/11 was an inside job. That's one of those. No one likes Sonic Frontiers.
I struggle to see how people would like it legitimately when we all saw those trailers for the game. We've all seen the reviews, and it's always like, what the hell is this?
But I think people were so down on it that when they got their hands on it, they were like, actually, it's okay.
That did help.
Interesting ideas in here.
That did help it.
It's kind of weird. And then in terms of Marvel Snap, I just kind of feel like it's everywhere. But I get this nagging sense that it's just the Disney marketing machine.
Yeah.
Pushing it.
Marvel Snap is fine. Like I did play Marvel Snap, but there is an element of it like, why is it coming up so much? Like, why is it being nominated for game and winning game awards?
Marketing.
I mean, yeah, that's a big part of it. And some of the most powerful marketing out there nowadays is marketing via the people, just brainwashing people to such an extent that they do it for you, which is for me is High on Life in a nutshell. Xbox fans are so panicked about not having a single good game to talk about all year that they have to pretend High on Life is good.
I think High on Life's a good shout. Do you know what? Genshin Impact, I legitimately think is a good, all right game. I haven't got to that paywall yet, and I think it's actually not too bad. I don't need people to pretend to like it because I can legitimately like it myself. But I'm with you on High on Life. I think that's a bizarre situation.
Oh, Chris, where are you leaning? It's tough.
I actually don't know, fellas. I kind of feel that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet sticks out for me. Okay,
right?
Because it's a Pokemon game, and it's like how can a Pokemon game be the worst game? And I think if you're a Pokemon fan and you've got Scarlet and Violet and you pay that amount of money for it, you'll be fine with it, warts and all. But I do kind of feel that you're lying to yourself in a way.
I tell you what's fun about this list. I've bought 2 of these games to gift to people in the next week or so that's exciting.
Pokemon Scarlet and Sonic Frontiers. I mean, to be fair, I very nearly asked for Pokemon Scarlet for Christmas, but I'm actually going to do the class. I'm actually going to wait to see what the next patch notes look like. And I believe, I don't want to jump the gun, Mum, if you're listening. I think I'm getting Sonic Frontiers for Christmas from someone. Because again, it's like a good excuse to get your family to buy you something you don't want to buy yourself, but you are eminently fascinated by.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, fair enough. I think when it comes to Genshin Impact, regardless of whether it's a good game or a bad game, whatever, I think that the people that like it do genuinely like it and they're not pretending.
Agreed.
Which kind of makes it a little bit weird and sad. But
I think there are people that genuinely like High on Life in the same way, but I also think there are a lot of people who are, again, this is a bad Twitter read. I'm not a Sony pony or any of that fucking bullshit, but I do think we are in the there are people on social media at this time of recording who are overstating the degree to which they are enjoying High on Life to kind of account for the fact that Xbox has needed something like this for a little while.
Yep.
And I don't think it's a bad game, but I do think people are overselling it and coming up with conspiracy theories about critic reviews and
Jamie, listen, if you don't eat for 3 days, okay, and I take a piece of toast and I put it in my mouth and I like mush it up and spit it out on a plate.
Oh yeah, like a bird.
You'll
Yeah.
gobble that shit up and you'll be like, yeah, this is good. You know?
3 days, I don't know if I agree with you. Like 2 weeks, probably.
But you know what I mean? An entire year. But yeah, no, I think Pokemon takes it for me, you know?
See,
Wow. Okay.
Because I think people are kind of saying like, oh yeah, but it's Pokemon. Like it doesn't matter that it runs at 10 frames a second.
And you know what?
It's like,
Pokemon is the game on this list that should be, I think, Jonesy, cover your ears. I know you've spent money on it already, but like it should be the most embarrassed by what it is.
Is it the worst?
Like,
oh,
But is
totally.
it the worst that people on the internet pretend to like? I think it's Sonic. I think it's got to be Sonic. You look at that game and the trailer trash, like dumpster fire.
But okay, here's the thing of Sonic versus Pokemon. Okay, so Sonic's expectations were down here. So for those that can't see, my hand is at the bottom of the screen, and people are saying it's higher. Okay. And then Pokemon, Scarlet and Violet, the expectation was here. My hand is at the top of the screen, and it's now moving down to the bottom because that's where it is. And people are kind of saying, like, no, it's fine. It's further up. Like, which way is worse? Which way is? I think the Pokemon
The key for
thing
me
is
is that
worse.
people pretend to like, and looking at Sonic Frontiers, I'm like, I think people are pretending to like that. I think, as Jamie said, people are legitimately liking Pokemon because it's Pokemon. And even with the issues, the technical issues, I think there are still loads of people that won't be that bothered by it. I think Sonic Frontiers for me.
Sonic Frontiers does also have that weird, like, Game Awards people's vote thing where Sonic Frontiers was going to win for a long time, and then Genshin Impact took over because Genshin, like, the developers offered in-game rewards if Genshin Impact won. So Genshin players started voting for it. Then Sonic Frontiers became the anti-Genshin vote. I mean, that was its own mess that involved two of these games. I'm torn, guys.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
So
it's tricky.
Jonesy Sonic.
Oh, it's all on you.
tricky.
It's all on you. I'm
If-
not budging.
If I have to split the difference between Pokemon and Sonic, I might just go with what my gut was saying when we came into this category. So, i.e., Chris, not a reflection on arguments made or not made, and stick with Sonic, because I do think
Sonic.
that fan base, that fan base is owed an award like this. Like, you know, they've been
Fellas,
putting a lot of
Yuji
work
Naka
in.
did not go to prison for this, okay?
I mean, it's true. You're right. Sorry,
But yeah,
Yuji,
fair enough. You know what? This is Democracy Manifest, so, you know, Sonic Frontiers, congratulations. You are the worst game of 2022 that weird people on the internet pretended to like. So, well
Congrats.
done.
There
to
you go. And look, finally, guys,
Congrats.
finally, we have gone full circle and we have made it all the way from last year to this year. We're back to December. And
I think you forgot the word January for a second there. You're like, I can't remember the name of the
no,
first
I'm
month.
saying because
last
we started just after the end of December, and now we're back to December. We're not in January.
Okay.
Yet. So we've gone full. You just see what I'm doing? We've gone full circle, and all of
All right. Yeah.
with all of the year's biggest releases, they've come and they've gone, and the industry is, they're winding down. They're having a little nap. They're putting on their sleeping hat. They're going to have a nice little break, over this little Christmassy period before they have to do it all over again. So look, after the that 12 months, they deserve a break. It's been tough. It's been tricky. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fellas, look, I guess all that's left for us to do is chat about our game of the year, 2022, conveniently tucked away at the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
I mean,
when we've done this in the past, we've gone three ways, right? We've each picked our own. Do we want to argue?
I mean, for my money, fellas, this is fucking so cut and dry. It's
That's true.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
And the thing is, Jonesy
Okay.
and I won't be able to talk you down from that, that
I can't
pedestal, no matter how we try.
And the small amount I've seen and played, I can't bring myself to possibly agree.
Well, look, fellas, yeah, exactly. For me, just if you know me, you know it's Elden Ring. That game is everything this year. God of War, Ragnarok, fantastic game. Really fucking solid. Like, deserves all the praise that it's been getting. And the awards that it won at the Game Awards, completely deserved. But you know what? It didn't win Game of the Year because it didn't deserve Game of the Year. And I stand by that resolutely because as good as God of War Ragnarok is, it is inferior to God of War 2018. Therefore, it can't be better than Elden Ring because Elden Ring is the GOAT. it's messy in a game. Come on.
I mean, I do know what you mean. I'm struggling to think of like a football comparison to make.
Like it's easy for me to say, oh, Elden Ring is the best, but Elden Ring has a solid story if you want to look into it. It's got the best action, okay, the best combat. It's got
Good combat.
Arguably, I could argue that it's got the best open world that got released this year, if not one of the best open worlds in a very long time. It is a behemoth of a game. It's absolutely fucking huge. It's sold gangbusters, although just the amount that a title sells shouldn't be a declaration of calling it Game of the Year. But it just does everything that it sets out to do better than anyone expected of it, and expectations were high.
Yeah.
And when I think of Game of the Year, it's funny, Jonesy and I were talking about this the other day. When I think of what a Game of the Year should be, is it should be something that pushes the needle of the games industry. And Elden Ring, with what it's done, has done that. It's very easy to be reductive about it and say, oh, well, it's just Dark Souls in an open world. It is so much more than that. And the care and craft put into that world and that game has not been touched, like, by any release this year. And that includes God of War Ragnarok. That's my piece. That's what I got to say.
Yeah.
So go on, Jamie. Why is God of War Ragnarok your game of the year?
No, that's the thing. Like, it's a damn good piece. Like, God of War Ragnarok is my game of the year. But the weird thing about God of War Ragnarok, and the reason that, like, in many ways I would never even begin to try and convince you of, like, changing your mind from Elden Ring, Chris, is that I almost came into this year half expecting God of War Ragnarok to be the game that took home this award for me. I expected it to be a game that I cared for very deeply and very fondly, and that's because so much of the table was already laid for God of War Ragnarok, and all it had to do was just sit down and not spill its meal down its front. And I think by and large, it doesn't spill its meal down its front. It takes, you know, one of my favorite melee combat systems of all time and enhances it in smart and subtle ways, but doesn't try to, you know, like, reinvent the wheel. It takes story threads and, you know, adds a meaningful urgency to them and brings them to natural conclusions, but also at times gets a little bit lost in the weeds with story threads that aren't quite as meaningful or as important, and that maybe drag down the thrust of the main quest has at the heart of it. I was satisfied with everywhere it went. I was satisfied with the ending. I also think that there are attributes to God of War Ragnarok that are far more meaningful for me in terms of what I look to for a video game that Elden Ring doesn't really have an equivalent of when it comes to actual moment-to-moment writing and dialogue and the sort of like character arcs and connections that can be formed as a result of that, the performances that come hand in hand with that side of a video game. Like, there are elements of that genuinely moved me within God of War Ragnarok, and that's something that, you know, a bridge that From Software, in their defense, hasn't really tried to cross yet, let alone hasn't crossed it.
Yeah.
But I think that there's not a lot I could say if I were to kind of stand in my soapbox and talk about God of War Ragnarok, even if I went on for the next 10 or 15 minutes, that really counters a lot of the arguments that can be put forward for Elden Ring. I don't think God of War Ragnarok, you know, moves the needle for the industry. I don't think God of Ragnarok pushed anything forward particularly. I think God of War Ragnarok was an unbelievably effective and satisfying and successful closing to one of my favorite video game sagas of all time. But like I said, that's all it needed to do. It needed to close a book that hadn't yet been closed, and it did so beautifully. But I think Elden Ring, in spite of having not played it, is a different kettle of fish. And if I were I haven't heard what Jonesy has to say yet, obviously, but if I were an adjudicator listening over the two arguments being made for each game and sort of like took everything at face value, I think there's more fuel in the fire for Elden Ring than there is for God of War Ragnarok, all things considered.
Yeah, wow.
That's honestly, that's not, like, again, my game of the year is God of War Ragnarok, but like, for the sake of what we're talking about and the arguments that are being made and what this is all about, I like the Elden Ring argument more than I like the God of War argument. It's just, yeah. It's
going to be really interesting when you start playing that game. Just to see that, like, You know, because you might absolutely fucking hate it, dude. Which is a
Do you know what?
big possibility.
The thing is, it won't matter to me if I hate it. That's a bit like saying, like, oh my god, what if I finally watch The Godfather or Citizen Kane or Casablanca and I don't like it or I find it boring? I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if you find it boring.
Yeah.
There's a significance. Like Jonesy's pulling faces.
Yeah.
But like Jonesy, like if a 15-year-old came up to you tomorrow and was like, I watched The Godfather, it is boring, you wouldn't go, well, I guess we need to go back to the history books. I guess some reevaluations like not everything's for everyone, and Elden Ring or From Software games in general not being for me doesn't change the significance or the validity of any of the arguments Chris just made. That's what I'm saying.
No, the only reason I was making faces was because, of course, your argument presupposes that the equivalent of an Elden Ring is Godfather or Citizen Kane, where, of course,
give it 10, 20, 30 years.
No, exactly. Yeah,
Trust
exactly.
me.
I'm not saying it's not that. I'm saying your argument presupposes it is that. Whereas if you give it 10, 15, 20 years, it could turn out to be American Pie. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like, insofar as...
It's not... Bro, it's not an American Pie.
Insofar as, like, is it appeal? Is it like curb appeal to a certain number of people, and then they get on it and they're like, yeah, man, this is fucking quality. And then in years to come, I don't know. I've not played it, so I can't comment. I like Chris's arguments about Elden Ring. I think, like Chris said, we were chatting about the other day, and I think Elden Ring has done a lot. But again, like I said, there's a few things there left to be considered. I think, Jamie, you make equally valid points about God of War Ragnarok and how it was, if you look at that as a saga, as the first game and the second game, I think you have this epic. I think you have something to me which blows Elden Ring out of the water. If you took those two games as a saga and you said that they were up against Elden Ring, I would absolutely say they completely destroy Elden Ring on every gaming front that I care about. But we can't look at it like that because, of course, only one of those games came out this year. We're neglecting, of course, an obvious contender, Stray, of course, which came out this year. Like, we've just completely ignored the cat game.
Put a bow on it. Wrap it up. We forgot about Stray. Fuck.
No, for me, it's a tricky one, and the reason it's tricky is because I haven't played Elden Ring. And as I think Jamie sort of said, for me, my game of the year would be God of War Ragnarok. But is that purely based on the fact that that was the best game I played this year, and I didn't play enough of other games that could have vied for that title? I can't shoot down Chris's arguments without playing that game, going through it, and then getting a bit of take on what other people think.
Yeah. Well, look, fellas, we don't need to come to consensus. Like, Elden Ring is my game of the year. God of War Ragnarok is Jamie's game of the year.
I'm gonna make this is unprecedented, and people in the comments might call this a cuck move, but I'm gonna offer you a consensus if you want one, Chris. Like, I have no interest in like 2 against 1, like fucking wedging God of War Ragnarok up there. Like, if I would be comfortable saying that Elden Ring is SuperShow's game of the year.
No, I would.
Well, no, what I was going to say is, I'd
almost prefer it, because then if I do play and it's utter shite, then I can come back in the new year and
I'll never fucking hear the end of it. Well, this is the thing though. Like, if I think both of you gave it a fair shot, I think I would say Jamie could love it, and Jonesy could hate it.
I think I would probably hate it. I wouldn't say could. I would say probably.
Yeah.
But it remains to be seen.
But what I was going to say is, thank you, everyone. Elden Ring is game of the year. So see you later. No, what I was going to say is, I think for this particular category, we don't need to choose an outright winner. Okay. Because it is hard, right? Like, I think maybe more so in any other year where you've got like 2 standout contenders, head and shoulders above the rest, and them being such different beasts is almost like going up to someone and saying, like, what's your favorite movie? It's like, well, pick a genre, motherfucker. Like, My Girlfriend is a Mermaid, refine, like refine that fucking thing. So I think this is probably a good opportunity to say, like, so Jonesy, I guess you was leaning towards God of War Ragnarok as your game of the year. So maybe talk about it in a little bit, but I think this is our opportunity to say, this is what we think is our game of the year, not the SuperShow game of the year. And then just an invitation to people in the comments to just like give their game of the year nomination. And it's always nice to have a reason. What do people like about their game, and why do they think it should succeed over the other games? So yeah, Jonesy, you reckon God of War, yeah?
like I said, yeah. Personally, for me, I think God of War Ragnarok, like as Jamie said, the combat system in that game is still absolutely solid. That the few sort of niggling little things I had that it frustrated me about that game were few and far between in the great scheme of things, and they were things that almost I would be picking out purely to have a conversation with someone about, like rather than just going, oh yeah, that game was fucking amazing. Like there'd be things that I'd be sort of saying, oh yeah, this and this and this. But I put like 35 hours or something into that game, and yeah, solid. Like it closes the story. It does it really well. It goes interesting directions. It does things I wasn't expecting. It does things I was expecting. It's the phenomenal technical achievement that they've got when you can play that game at like 120 frames a second, is it, or whatever, and it still looks and it looks fantastic. Like we didn't even mention it, I think, in the best looking game of the year, because I don't think it would have been. But when you consider the fact that you can play that game and it looks great at 120 frames a second, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. It
was
nominated.
It was nominated.
Yeah, it was nominated. And you know what, to be fair to it, like how refreshing that a good looking game actually runs at a decent frame rate. Like they've done some wizardry there, especially considering it's a PS4 title that is enhanced for the PS5.
It's weird because for people that haven't played it, I would actually say to people, there is a subplot to God of War Ragnarok, which is easily my standout like story of a game. But it would be unfair to say that it was like story of the year, because like the game, it's not the story of the game, but there are subplots to that story which I'm like, I actually loved. So yeah. But I don't like I said, I don't want it to become de facto game of the year, because Jamie and I both said it's our games of the year. But yeah, I think
we're not doing de facto game of the year. We'll leave that up to the audience.
Yeah. I like
everything has a space.
But yeah, I'm to reiterate everything Josie just said. Like space, also for me, God of War Ragnarok. Like that, you guys know from talking to me as I was playing it. Like God of War Ragnarok got under my skin in a way that no game since God of War 2018 got under my skin. And I don't think it's a coincidence that it's those two in the last 4 years that have had me playing. Like whatever it is, 8-hour sessions playing to my fucking retinas were burning, like exploring every nook and cranny, getting the platinum, doing everything you could possibly do in that world, and still wanting more. God of War 2018 left me like that. God of War Ragnarok left me like that. And I also like to, one thing I maybe didn't mention before that I do want to praise is that like God of War Ragnarok, I remember us talking about this before release when we were watching trailers or speculating of the lack of trailers. God of War Ragnarok had a lot to do. It was a ballsy move to end this saga in 2 games rather than stretching out to 3. And it suffers from that at times. Like there's a lot of story squeezed into not a lot of time and a lot of space. But the way it branches out and the way it expands that roster of characters, the like totally unexpected characterizations of like gods that you thought you were familiar with, like Thor and Odin, that were just brought to life in stunning and equally as unexpected portrayals from, in great performances. Like it took risks. I think that's the other thing. Maybe I made it earlier sound a little bit too safe. It did take risks, and I think it pulled off a lot of those risks. It made me cry, like it genuinely moved me at times. And I think the fact that this was, as they advertised it before the fact, like the closing of the Norse saga of God of War, and yet I'm still here on Tentox waiting for whatever the fuck is next. I don't care where it is. I don't care who it is. I don't care what it is. Like, I'm there. Like that
you just want that team to make more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a special game for me, and it's my game of the year.
Nice. Well, there we have it. 2 nominations for God of War Ragnarok, and 1 nomination for Elden Ring. So let us know what your game of the year for 2022 is. Leave it in the comments down below if you're watching on YouTube. Otherwise, maybe you're watching us on a podcasting platform of your choice, in which case, may I invite you to the YouTube channel to leave a comment and let us know. Otherwise, you can tweet us at SuperShowPod and let us know there. I look forward to hearing about all of your motivations and why I am right. And yeah. With that, fellas, thank you so much. This is going to be the last piece of content we make for 2022, I'd imagine.
I'd probably.
So,
thank you to all the
all I can
viewers
say is
and
like
listeners and patron supporters and everyone for making it another great year, or just, in fact, simplify it, for giving us another year of doing this, which is very welcome.
Yeah. Thank you to each and every one of you. And Jamie, Jonesy, thank you to both of you. And thanks to me as well for, just having a good time and meeting up mostly once a week. Just chatting shit about games, the thing we love.
Hell yeah.
So I just want to wish everyone a happy festive season, kind of a great new year, and 2023, it's going to be interesting, right?
You can say that again, buddy.
Cool. And with that, thank you so much for watching or listening, and we will see you next year. See ya.
Bye.
Hey, Martin, real quick, I want to thank everybody and say that I think I want to nominate this award to my Reformed Orthodox Rabbi, Bill Clinton.